Hey guys, it's Fancy Summer and welcome back to another speed build. So today I am doing a traditional family home. Like, that is basically the best way to describe it. I've been wanting to make another one of these for a while. I made one, I think it said, I went back and looked, I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago. And I have definitely improved my building skills since then. I've worked really hard, so I wanted to kind of make a new one. That was technically, I called it, it was like a suburban home, you know, whatever, but it was kind of the same thing. Kind of falls under the same lines, but this is just your typical traditional home. I don't know if this is technically considered like a suburban home or not, but it's just traditional looking. Like, it's traditional. I can't think of any other word to describe it other than that. So that's what we're going with. But yeah, this is a house that I have been like, every single time I go to record a speed build, like, this is what I've been meaning to do, but somehow I always get distracted and I record something else. Like, the last speed build I did was the luxury cabin type thing, and I meant to record this, like, this is what I wanted to do, and then, like, I saw, like, a picture of, like, a log cabin, like, a pretty one, and I was like, oh, snap. We're doing it! So, I got really distracted. And, I cut out, you'll notice, like, I edited this a lot, because this house, as usual, you guys know I'm, like, pretty freaking indecisive, but, I had a lot of trouble with the roofing. It's just, it's just an oddly shaped house, so with that, you're gonna have roofing troubles. It's just gonna happen. But I cut all of it out. It took me like maybe an hour or two, honestly, to do all the roofs. And for the wallpapers, I chose to do like the accent walls that, like, I think it's like a light brick color, which is what, like, technically I would usually want it to be stone, but the stone that we get in this game is just so jacked up looking. And then the regular sliding is just like that cream-ish color sliding. I don't know, it's very traditional, like I said. So it just happened to fit pretty well. But here I am doing like this little overhanging roof spot because I wanted there to be columns in the front of the house, at least. I put them in the back at first, but I think I deleted them. And then I ended up putting columns like all around the corners of all of the rooms on the outside because I don't know, it makes it look like I have no idea what it makes it look like, to be honest with you, but I like the way it looks. So I ended up doing that too. I don't know if I skipped that part or not, because again, it's just part of the process that took like way too long. But I ended up changing those columns to something that looked a little less fancy. This house was not meant to be fancy by any means. It's just supposed to be a typical, like, family home. Like, they're not by any means, wealthy or anything, even though I'm sure this house is, like, crazy expensive on the gallery, because, that's just how it works. But, yeah, it's not meant to be for families that are extremely wealthy. I mean, unless you change some of the furniture, then, yeah, by all means, go ahead. But, I really like those long windows. If you guys have watched my speed builds before, you might have heard me say that I'm, like, awful with windows. Unless it's a modern home, then I, like, totally love it. But I was like, alright, Sasha, now's your chance. Now's your chance to prove yourself with windows. So, it actually really didn't take me that long. Only a few took me a while. Like, the ones, like the little tiny windows that I had to come up with, like, those I think took me the longest, because I was just trying to figure out what, didn't look awkward or weird, so. I actually don't think I've ever used, like, the tiny little windows before. Like, the smallest of the windows that you can use. Besides, like, the little squares. Like, the solid square. I like that window. As you can see, I tried to use it here, but it flopped. But, yeah, I really like the way the windows came out. I really like that tall one right there that I keep using. As you can probably tell, I've used it quite a bit already. Tried not to go a little overboard, because I knew I could. But I didn't. I tried to keep variety in the windows. I used, like, 3 different kinds, so that's a little bit different for me. Usually I'm, like, again, like I said, practice makes perfect. I have always sucked with windows, and now I think it's okay. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be by any means. But yes, I love those windows right there, those like thicker ones. Oh man, I love those. They go really weird on the grid though. They kind of take up like 2 spaces and then you can't put anything next to them. I don't know, it's real weird window, but I like it. And then right here, I think I ended up like totally reducing the amount of windows. I think I only had like 2 on it by the time it was done. I thought it just looked a little too troubled over there. Troubled. Yeah, troubled house. Anyways, though, working on the landscaping now. This, I felt like I got a little creative here. You know, in traditional houses or in suburban houses, if you're, you know, considering it as somewhat, I mean, it kind of does look like a suburban house. I guess you could definitely call it that. But anyways, regardless of what it is, in these kinds of houses, usually they have a garage, which I believe is like, you know, would be like that part there on the right. Or I'm sorry, on the left. I don't know. Wow. Now I don't know my freaking left and right, of course. But, I had this like vision in my mind of it having like a driveway, which is like what this will be right here. But, you know, I don't know, like, or like a really cool like walkway. But of course we don't have like all of the space to do all that. So what I did is I kind of like rounded it like outwards, if that makes any sense. You'll see in a minute whenever it's done, but I really like the way this this came out. It kind of does look like it's supposed to be kind of like a driveway, but at the same time it doesn't. So it kind of gives me that like fake illusion that I need to be satisfied, which is pretty cool. And then over here I had started to do a garden just like right off the bat, just like no like fencing or anything, and I wanted to do the rocks like I'm doing now, but I thought maybe it would look like there was maybe too many rocks because there was already that huge like walkway thing with rocks. But once I put them in there, I realized it really didn't look all that bad. It didn't look like it was overwhelmed or anything because it was kind of just like off to the side, so I thought it looked okay. And I'm pretty sure I cut this out because me doing these garden things takes ages because I changed my mind like 50 times, so that is what it ended up looking like. I tried to use the same assortment of flowers and plants throughout it so it doesn't look too crazy. And then over here on the right, I actually did something that I kind of did in the what did I call it? The forest luxury video, that's what it was, in that build, because what I did there, because, well, it was more like for camping, but this one I thought it just looked very homey. I put a really big tree like that, you know, I would potentially believe that, you know, caused a lot of shade, and put a little bench behind it, so, you know, it's as if you were sitting underneath the shade on this bench. I thought it was really like homey looking. I don't know, it just looked very cute, and it fills up the space pretty nicely without like making it look a little too busy, you know? It didn't fill it up that much, but it filled it up just enough to make me not think that there should be more there. And then in the backyard, it's pretty small, but I really wanted a pool, so I put this like very oddly shaped L-shaped pool. I mean, I know it's an L shape, that's not odd, but it is odd. in this build, it does look a little bit weird, but I don't know, I really wanted a pool back there. So I just kind of went with the flow. So it took me a really long time to figure out what shape I wanted it to be, so that's why I did cut that out as well. And then here I was adding in some nice corners because I wanted it to have that little like diagonal piece right there. And then right over here by the tree, I ended up putting a few chairs that like look off into the pool, and then a bench behind the tree on the other side, because I don't know, I'm just really into the way that looks right now. If this backyard would have been bigger, I would have definitely put more like kid-related objects, but I just really wanted a pool. I feel like, you know, everyone can enjoy the pool. Kids, adults, teenagers, everyone can enjoy it, even them elders. So, yeah, and that little stone path is like really growing on me because it doesn't like fill up the whole entire like, the brush. It doesn't like completely cover it, it just covers like the little rocks. Or it just puts down the rocks. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Anyways, though, trying to figure out what to put over here to fill in the space. I thought these little flower pot thingies would look good on the windows, but I ended up not really liking them. They looked kind of odd and random. So I ended up putting some flowers on those pedestal things, because they are beautiful and I love them. And, yeah, and then putting some flooring on there, and I skipped, okay, now listen, now I don't know if you guys like to see the inside, like, when I am picking out the flooring and the wallpaper, because it takes ages, it takes almost as long to do that, and it takes about the same amount of time to furnish the whole house, maybe a little bit less, but, like, it's a long process, because I'm so indecisive. And I really don't have a game plan when I jump into the interiors of the houses. I really don't have a game plan, so it's kind of always random. But yeah, I went for like a neutral color, again, like I said, traditional. Went for a neutral color in the main sections of the house, just to keep it, you know, not looking too crazy or anything. It's not supposed to be modern or anything like that, so I kept it pretty chill on the inside. And the kitchen is ginormous, let me just go ahead and warn you, but I tried to size it down because I did change a little bit of the outside to do that, but like it's nothing drastic, nothing that like you would need to see. Trust me, you probably wouldn't even notice a difference if I wouldn't have told you. But it was just like, yeah, I mean, the size of the kitchen before I sized it down was intense. It's still pretty intense, but it was really intense. Like, you would have probably hated it. Like, let me just tell you right now, it was huge. Oh, and that couch, that long tan couch, okay, in my last speed build, I did mention that that was my favorite couch of all time in this game, but it comes in the 3 absolute worst colors. That tan color is passable, obviously, but the other colors are just no. But in this house, oh, you best believe I made them work, because I love them. That chair is part of it too. It goes with the couch, so I was so happy that I got to use them, and I did use them quite frequently in this house. They make several appearances. Anytime I thought that I could put one of those chairs in or one of those couches, I was all over it. And I put in a fireplace here. I don't know if that looks kind of random or not, but I wanted a fireplace in here, and I thought that was the only like fitting place, so that's where I put it. And it looks a little strange, but I'm not too, like, I mean, I'm pretty OCD about things, but that really didn't bother me that much, so I was okay. And this is, I mean, there is a lot of cabinets, or countertops in here. But once I was done with it, I thought it looked okay. I didn't think it actually looked that crowded, so I guess that's good, but I made sure to fill up as much of the counter space as possible, because there was so many. I was like, okay, we have to do something with these counters. There's so many of them. I don't know, it really doesn't look all that bad, but I did put a few cabinets in over on the left side there. You'll see in a minute. I don't know if I completely skipped it. I may have, to be honest with you, because that's another thing that takes me a while, is those frickin' cabinets, man. They can really irritate me, because I don't know. They don't always like fit right, and it bothers me. I may have skipped this. Oh, yeah, I did. I really like those open ones though that show you what's inside. I think that is so cute. It's so homey. I really like those. I think that's super cute. And then putting in a few decor items. I didn't go too crazy on this. I just kept it pretty simple. I put like a paper towel holder thing, and then like some soap, you know, just like typical things that you need by your sink. And then I put a little rug over here to fill in the space, and I believe that's pretty much it, aside from me just putting in some paintings and little decor items on the wall. And over here I put in like this, I like sized up that pots and pans thing, and it looks humongous. And now please don't think of that as like the actual size of the pots and pans. Please think of that as a decor item, because it is obviously not how big your pots and pans would be if you were cooking, unless you were a giant from another planet. So anyways, in the dining room, I had to use one of those smaller tables, which I wasn't planning on doing, but the other ones didn't fit. And here I just felt like being totally weird and putting mirrors on every corner. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with my brain, but I was like, man, I feel like doing something totally just weird, like what's wrong with me kind of thing. So that's what I did. It is just as weird as I am imagining, but I wanted to do something strange. Ooh, had a yawn, sorry. And over here I am putting in like a home library. I've never done this before, but I think they look really, really nice. And I do always forget to put in bookshelves, so this is a good way to not forget by having tons of them. So instead of connecting them all like I've seen before, I've seen a couple people do that. I just put them out like that, just in case, you know, by chance they didn't work or something, or students couldn't get to them. There's those chairs again. And yeah, I just chose like the safe route, just to make sure that your Sims could actually use them. And I did use these lanterns again. After I used them in the Forest Luxury speed build, I noticed how much I actually was in love with them. Those lanterns are just so adorable. Like, they really just create such an atmosphere that I really like. But anywho, I think this house has 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, so it's got a pretty good amount of space. You could definitely change any of those bedrooms to something else, or this right here is like a totally random room. You could totally change these rooms. Like, they do not by any means have to stay the same. But this room is basically just a lounge room. It is just another like sitting room type area. I was actually not going to put anything over here, but I thought this huge empty space, you know, it just looked a little weird not, you know, having anything in it. So I ended up just filling it up. Oh, and there's that chair kit over there, by the way. I believe like the tan color and the red color are definitely usable, but that green color, I don't know. It's a tricky one. But I put a little TV. I thought it should have at least some kind of entertainment in here. And then I believe I put a chess table in here, and I think that's it. So it's a pretty chill room, and it leads off into, it has its own little like bathroom sectioned off over there. So it's pretty nice. So I would say this is more of an adult section of the house, you know, with the kitchen, and then you have the library, and then this little sitting area over here. I thought it was quite nice. And then over here to the other side of the stairs is like a skill building study kind of room. I've never actually used that workbench before. So, you know, yeah, shockingly enough, I know. But I've never used it before, like in my game or in builds. So I put that in there, thought that would be interesting. And I kept this like a green scheme here because there's that chair again. Told you it's gonna make several more appearances, but I liked the green. I don't know, I like that green color on the walls. Absolutely rocks my whole world. I always forget that it exists, and then whenever I figure it out, I'm like, oh, why did I not use this before? It's beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of green, but you know what? After playing The Sims for so long, you start to like green. Okay. The Sims kind of revolves around the color green. So yeah, that's just, I think about that all the time. I'm like, man, I have to like use the color green a lot with The Sims, but it's okay, it's not actually that bad. And I really wanted that plant in there, so I had to rearrange the toilet a little bit. And I can't remember if I put a light in there or not. Now I'm starting to think I didn't. If I didn't put oh god bless, just choked. If I didn't put a light in there, I apologize. Maybe I didn't. I guess I didn't. My bad. Whoops. Okay, I knew I forgot something. There's always something, guys. There is always something. And I'm kicking myself for it in my head. Okay, but this is the first bedroom. This would technically be considered the master bedroom because it does have the ensuite there with the bathroom, so. And then there's that couch again. Yes! And, yeah, I kept all the bedrooms pretty, like, basic, honestly. Like, they're pretty generic rooms. Upstairs, there are 3 more bedrooms, and one is like a neutral color because it's like yellow. And then the other 2, I have one pink room and one blue room. So yeah, technically in my head I had boy and girl themed. They're not really like, they're not technically like for kids, you know what I mean? They're just like, they could maybe be for, I don't know, teens? I don't know, they're very, like, they're very, sophisticated, but at the same time, you know, that you can definitely tell there's a theme there. So yeah, man, I love those couches. Whew. If I could have one of those couches in real life, I would just be okay with that. Like, that would just be fantastic. And then filling in a little bit of space over here with another accent table. You know what I've started to like is not filling up the accent tables as much as I have before. Like, leaving a lot of space, or like just putting a plant on there instead of like completely filling it up with stuff. I actually really like the way it looks with not that much stuff on it. So, and then over here, I don't know what I was doing, but I felt like putting a bunch of little mirrors, and then I put a little screen there. It doesn't have any purpose whatsoever, it just thought it looked a little nice. And then putting in some nice little rugs, and there's that couch again, which I think I actually changed. Yeah, I was like, okay, Sasha, we've got to stop. We've got to just tone it down a little bit. But this is just a little sitting area upstairs. It just, you know, the space called for something, so I put another little sitting area. I think it always looks nice. And then I'm just trying to find a rug that doesn't offend me. And then filling in the extra space over here. I love those candles. If you couldn't tell, I've used them a few times already. They are quite amazing. And then this is a very, very intensely rectangular shaped bathroom on the upstairs. And I actually think that there is another one on the other side as well. So, yeah, this one doesn't connect to any of the bathrooms, but yeah, this is that yellow room I was talking about. This is the one that was right next to that bathroom. And this one is pretty, I mean, even though like it's a neutral color, I would still kind of think a girl would be in this room. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but in my head, I guess that's kind of what I was thinking. But it's, again, like, it's just so generic and everything. Like, I just didn't want anything to be, too specific. But this is the blue room. We're just gonna call them by their colors instead of the boy room. It's the blue room. So this is the blue room. They all have their own double beds, so that's why I'm saying it's a little more sophisticated rather than just having like a twin size bed. You know, they all have their own like full size beds, so that's pretty nice. I didn't put a TV in the other bedroom, even though I think I wanted to, but I did put TVs in. I don't know, I don't actually remember if I put a TV in the other room. I guess we'll find out. But I did add some posters and stuff, so I mean that does kind of bring the like age of the room down a little bit, if you know what I mean, like the sim age. But so like over here I have like a mirror and this little like coat hanger, not coat hanger, what is that? I don't know, it's like a rack of clothes, I suppose. I don't know, it's a little strange. If I could put anything like back into this, well, not anything, this would not be my first choice, but am I the only one that kind of liked the laundry in The Sims 3? I don't know, everyone was so annoyed by it, which, like, don't get me wrong, it is pretty annoying, but like at the same time it's like, I don't know, it was cool. It was interesting. I don't know. It was just interesting. And then over here is the pink room. This is definitely, like, in my head, the youngest of the rooms, so I could definitely see, like, a younger girl, or, well, you know, staying in this room. This would definitely be where she would want to stay. But that is it, and now you can enjoy the beautiful pictures. So I hope you guys enjoyed this speed build, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye, everyone.